It's Thursday, April 10th. I'm Scott.
I'm Rim.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, what if we were supervillains of evil? Let's do this.
What a lovely day.
All right, don't. That's got to stop right now.
But it was a lovely day.
No, it wasn't. It was just
Actually,
nice out.
It was It was beautiful. I took like an hour
But it
lunch.
wasn't lovely.
Lovely. What a lovely day.
No.
The sun is singing. The birds are shining.
No, it wasn't that. No.
Yes, it was.
No.
It was so nice out. I had lunch in Bryant Park, and there were at least like 3,000 people just crammed into the
3,000.
There was this sea of people everywhere, and the streets were full. You couldn't even walk past Bryant Park. It was great.
All right.
It was a nice day. What do you want? I went running.
Yeah.
Don't you ever? Well, you don't go outside. You don't.
I went outside. It was nice.
And
It's not an excuse to make all sorts of annoying noises.
it was a really nice day.
Yeah. Is that all you got?
Yeah, I
That's
guess
not very exciting.
it's exciting to me. A nice day is something to be treasured.
No, you're going to have like a billion nice days.
And you know what? Each one of them is amazing.
No, not really. They're all the same.
Okay.
They're just better than the bad days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then do your news if you're just gonna be that.
Do we don't have anything else to say? That was pretty late. You told me you had like a quality opening bit.
No, I didn't. I said I'll start because you didn't seem to have anything.
All I had was the fact that I did a bunch of work at work, which is incredibly unusual.
I mean, the only kind of thing I can talk about, since you don't want to hear about what a lovely day
Yeah,
it
you got to
was.
stop saying that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's just a little bit annoying.
Was that it was funny. I was
I'm
on the
sure
train.
people have already stopped listening.
So I ended up talking to the conductor because I've noticed something pretty much every day. The trains that come to Beacon, they're one train car longer than the platform because so many people come up this way.
Yep.
Like more people than could fit on the trains they originally expected.
Mhm.
So the front car never opens. The doors do not open. They announce this multiple times on every train that car will not open at any of those stops.
Mhm.
And despite this, every single day, people, like, I get off the train, or I try to get off the train, like 2 stops before Beacon, people start lining up to get out near the front of the train. And every day, I one day by accident, I sat in the front car, partly because I was in no hurry. And pretty much everyone in that car was getting off in Beacon. And they all stood up, and waited in a line to get out of the car, like 2 stops before. And it took them so long to get off because they had to walk all the way back and get off in the next car that people who were sitting 1 or 2 cars back were already like at their cars before those people even got off.
Yeah.
But those people who, and I heard them complaining.
This is why I sit in the second car.
As do I, and as do all smart people.
Or possibly the third car. Of course, I sat in the second car, not today, but yesterday. And so I don't know what was going on, but it was so bumpy. I couldn't even use my laptop. Like it was like this incredible, like crazy shaking going on. Like all the people around were laughing, but I wasn't laughing because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even read because the book was shaking.
But I was thinking, all right, it's the same people every day who sit in that front car, and then it takes them like 5 minutes to get off the stupid train, and the train's stuck there forever because everyone else is off but the people from that front car walking back. And I was sitting next to a conductor, and I brought it up. I was like, hey, so what's the deal with those people? And he looks at me, and he goes, you realize how many meetings we have trying to figure out what to do with these people who just don't get how to get on and off trains? And apparently, and he's even like, we've tried announcing. That's why we started announcing for the longest time. The front car doesn't get off, but the same people sit there every day, and then the same people.
Well, maybe
take forever
instead
to
of
get
just
off.
saying the doors in the front car won't open, they should say, if you're in the front car, you should probably think about, moving back to one of the other cars.
He said he's tried it. They've brought it up. He's actually said to people in the front car, if you sat in another car, you'd actually be off the train and off the platform faster than if you're sitting in this front car. And he pretty much said that usually they get all indignant or how dare you tell me where to sit on the train. But apparently the issue of people not thinking about where they sit on the train and then complaining about the train despite the fact that all they have to do is sit somewhere else and the problem goes
You don't
away.
have to sit somewhere else. You can sit in the front car. But instead of lining up at the door of the first car, like the only one that opens, walk back a few cars and then wait in line.
You can't, because all the people in the second car are lined up facing that car to get off in the same door.
Yes, that's another problem, is the people lining up to get off the train.
The funniest thing is when you get to Grand Central, there's always people like I'm sitting near the back of a car. People will line up facing forward all the way to the back of the car and wait to get to the front of the car and get off. Meanwhile, I just walk backward like 4 seats, get off the back of the car, and then I walk and I see those people waiting in line inside the car as I walk past them.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But apparently the conductors on all these trains like notice this every day and it bothers them immensely.
I'm sure it must.
So I no longer feel about it. Now I just laugh and sit in the second car.
I empathize with the conductor.
Though I did something crazy 3 days ago. I actually, on a lark, because I was sitting in the back of the train to get off on the other side, I got up 4 stops before Beacon and stood in the vestibule to be the first one off the train right next to the way to get out.
Yep.
And there was already someone waiting there.
Well, how are you sure it wasn't someone just who didn't want to sit? Because I notice a lot of people, they'll stand in the vestibule like the whole ride just because they don't want to sit anywhere. Or maybe they're too lazy to go look. It's weird because, like, I'll go, like, when I get on the 509 train, right? I'll get on the 509 train at, like, 10 to 5, 5 to 5, something like that, right? And in the back cars of the train, there'll be people sitting on the floor. There'll be people standing in the doorway, right? And I just walk all the way up to the first and second car, and there are seats. And I'm like, are they just so lazy to walk the distance of the train? They have plenty of time to do it, to get a seat, that they'd rather just sit in the back car.
I think they don't like sitting next to people.
And they just sit on the floor.
A lot of people get real uncomfortable. Now that I'm doing my sit in the middle of a 3-seater, a lot of people get real uncomfortable, and I usually get a 3-seater to myself.
Yeah,
I've been doing this it's kind of mean, but it's funny because they have the right to sit next to me, and I'm taking up not even a full seat because I'm much narrower than one train seat.
Yeah,
but people just can't deal with it, and they freak out, and then they leave me alone, and then I have the whole thing to myself. Anyway, I don't want to keep talking about the intricacies of seating on Metro North trains. So now, Scott.
Now you want to do news?
See, I've noticed if I have a nice, happy, optimistic, like, yay, what a great day.
It wasn't the fact that it was yay, what a great day. It's the fact you did an annoying voice.
I don't think it was that annoying.
It was pretty annoying.
Day.
It's pretty annoying.
The sun is singing, the birds are shining.
And you're being loud, and it's kind of painful. Anyway.
Okay, so what do you have in the news, Captain Scott?
Well, we don't watch the television, right? No cable, no antenna, no satellites, no nothing.
Well, I watch DVDs.
Yeah, but that's not television.
Well, I watch it on the television, and I watch television shows.
But that isn't television. Television requires the tele. In addition to the vision, you're sort of watching things that could be delivered by television, but you're watching them with just the vision.
So if I use a TiVo and time shift, is it still television?
No.
Okay.
Because you're not watching it via the tele.
But you are just time shifted. It came in via the tele.
That doesn't matter.
So what matters? What's the line?
The live broadcast, whatever.
Okay, I'm curious.
The point is, we don't watch the television, and we don't listen to the radio, except sometimes in the car, but rarely, right?
I haven't... You know what? Actually, I took the antenna out of my car a long time ago, so I can't listen to the radio in the car. Because it makes my RF transmitter work 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I have the wires, so I don't need to do that. But anyway, so if there's like an emergency, like emergency broadcast system emergency, like, I don't know, a tornado warning, or, that doesn't happen here often, but it could. It could happen.
Yeah, I don't actually, now that I think well, go on. Then
or maybe, something else like that happens, right?
Because there's one, I have a really important anecdote, but anyway.
Yeah, then we really, despite our being high-tech and fancy, we won't find out, because the emergency broadcast system is pretty much radio and TV, and it's based on the assumption that you're going to either have a radio or a TV on pretty
the thing
soon.
Is, I mean, I remember at RIT when the September 11th attacks happened, there was no way any of us would have found out at all until we went and checked the news. But because we were all in college, and because the odds of at least a quarter to half of the front row crew being online, actively using the internet at any given point in the day, 24/7, 7 days a week. Like, the odds were pretty much 100% that someone was online, like, actively searching and surfing, whatever. So pretty much, we had our own FRC emergency broadcast system.
I mean, for something like that, it'll work out. Like, I got an IM that told me to turn on the TV, and we had TV at RIT because they had free cable in the apartment. But, if something happens, like I use my tornado warning example, no one in the front row crew is going to find out about that and be able to tell us because they don't have radio or TV either. And it's a local problem, not a huge problem that you're going to find out about. Like, our friends in Albany aren't going to find out about the Beacon tornado warning on the internet.
Yeah, FARC is not going to say tornado coming in Beacon. FARC is going to say tornado destroyed Beacon.
Yes, exactly. So where it's sort of kind of, whenever there's like a big storm or something, I'll always go to weather websites just to make sure, because like.
See, well, the weather example is interesting because that's actually the thing I care about the least, even though, I grew up in Michigan, which is pretty much one of the most tornado-in states there is. There are a lot of tornadoes. Tornadoes came frequently to the point that you hear a tornado warning, you go, tornado. Sometimes we'd go watch them. It was great fun. But because there were tornadoes and danger of tornadoes, every town, there's always like the air raid siren or the loud siren that can. It seems like out here, because it seems like they go off kind of randomly. And whenever I hear it go off, I think tornado. Because in Michigan, it goes off once a month to test, and otherwise, it goes off when there's a tornado warning. So there's no way you can miss the fact that there's a tornado in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But around here, they don't seem to do that. So what's the point of the stupid sirens?
They use them here for like fires, and
But why? That doesn't help me.
It helps the volunteer fire department.
But they have pagers.
They might not have the pager on.
Yes, they do. I know volunteer firemen always carry their pager.
They might have run out of battery.
They want that pager to go off. You know how awesome it is when that pager goes off? They love that crap.
They also use it in case the nuclear power plant has a problem.
That's a different one. Because I remember there's one siren that's like, wee, wee, and then there's this other siren that's like, in the distance. And I never knew what that other one was. Then we found out that's Indian Point.
Yeah.
If Indian Point blows up, we'll hear.
Anyway, of course, no one will know what it is, right?
Well, we will.
Until the emergency broadcast system turns on. Anyway.
You know what that is? That's the, let's start driving north alarm.
So this is really, and it's funny, that as connected as we are, probably the most important thing we don't get, and it's because being so connected and smart, we pull our information. We don't have people pushing information at us that we don't want. We go and hand pick what we want, but by hand picking, we're going to miss something.
It's also kind of that we only connect to, I guess, usable or well put together information sources. So the same problem here is also why we don't often have a lot of knowledge about local events, because there's no modern way to find out about local events, and it's not worth the effort to use the old archaic methods like the terrible local papers we have.
Right. But something like an emergency broadcast, the goal is to push that to everyone, and it makes sense because everyone wants it. No, there's no one who doesn't want the emergency broadcast, right? So what do? And surprise, surprise, of all things, it's amazing. The government, the federal government in the United States, specifically the FCC, which is stupid in so many ways, actually has a smart answer, and they're going to make it happen. I can't believe it. It's tax dollars doing right.
See, this is why we are libertarians with a lower fucking case L.
Yeah.
Lowercase. That's very important.
Yeah, this is not police or courts or defense, all right? This is something else. But, those crazy libertarians would say, this is the kind of thing that they wouldn't budget for.
If you want a school, you pay for your own goddamn school.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, if you don't have the school, how are the people going to understand the emergency broadcast that are all illiterate? Right? Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to have a thing where they send out SMS messages on your cell phone when there's an emergency.
That's brilliant because everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, at least anyone who doesn't watch TV and doesn't listen to the radio has a cell phone.
Pretty much. The only exception are homeless people who
Well,
weren't going to find out
homeless people
anyway.
and Luddites are screwed anyway.
That's what I was going to say. Well,
There's nothing
not homeless people, hobos, because there's a difference between, I mean, homeless person is a large category. And then independent of homeless person, there is the transiently homeless, and then there are hobos, and then there are bums.
Right.
And then all the different, but anyway.
But anyway, the point is that it really depends on how this is implemented, how quality it is. Because, I mean, like, if they go by, say, area code, right, I'm going to get emergencies for, like, Connecticut.
And I'm going to get emergencies for Poughkeepsie.
Right, that's not so good. We want the beacon ones. If they go by GPS, which is what they should do, then this could be awesome.
Yes. That makes it like the best thing ever. Because then if I'm on a business trip in Florida and Florida's about to blow up, I'll get
with
an
a hurricane,
SMS.
you'll get an SMS while you're in Florida saying hurricane, get the hell out of Florida.
With hurricanes, you know they're coming a long time in advance.
I know. But plus, the other thing about, the SMS is you can actually give detailed instructions that are sort of written down that people can look at and read again. So they won't mess them up. Instead, like having to write down, what the emergency broadcast on the radio is saying, or write down what the TV is saying, or you'll have it and you'll be able to take the information with you. So as you're evacuating, you can read the evacuation directions on the phone that came in the SMS message.
Now,
So
the thing is, though, the example about weather doesn't really, I can't say I care about that. Because,
no, I'm just saying weather is the really good example because it's something that's localized.
Yeah, but at the same time, I just want to point out that for the majority of the United States where there is a possibility of tornadoes and dangerous weather like that, it's actually, the conditions are very specific, and you can pretty much, I'd like to do a little, maybe I'll do a little like quickie show.
You can tell when they're coming without a broadcast.
You can know pretty much all day if it's a tornado day, and you'll know long before a tornado comes if tornadoes are coming.
Yeah. But I think this is a really good idea. It makes me pretty happy to know that, sometime in the future I won't have to worry about, I wonder if there's an emergency broadcast and I'm missing it because I'm too high
now,
tech.
The worst thing is whenever there's a problem, like the internet goes down or my cell phone stopped working, or like the power goes out and doesn't come back on right away, we always look at each other and go, is there something going on? Because there's no way for us to know.
There's no way for us to know.
No way at all.
But now there'll be a way for us to know.
Remember the Great Northeast Power Outage? Because I remember I called Scott on my cell phone, and I was like, yeah, oh my God, I'm at IBM, the power.
I was using the landline phone in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah. I forget exactly what, but the conversation was pretty much like, hey, is the power out where you are? Ha, ha, ha. And then Scott was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Because the power's out here, too.
Shit.
And my coworkers are like, what's going on? Shit. And the factory is going berserk because, it's a factory that suddenly lost power.
I would have just gone home.
Did
they have generators at the factory?
Yes, but it was crazy. I'll put it that way.
Anyway, so you got a news over there?
I got a news, indeed. This is something that I have very, very conflicted feelings about, not just this news, but the issue in general. And of course, I want to point out that this, like most things that I'm interested in, involves my favorite U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals.
Number 9?
Number 9.
Circuit Court number 9.
The 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals.
We should take that, that song Love Potion number 9? We should remix it to be like...
number 9. Anyway.
Wrong song.
I know. I was thinking like Table 5, though. Different thing, because it's also funny.
Oh, you didn't even sound right.
I can't sing.
It's got to be like, Table 9. Table 9. Oh, like that.
You gave me crap when I tried to sing Those Were the Days, so I guess you can't really expect anything better. But the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals in the U.S. is pretty much the most overturned court in the world.
It's in San Francisco. It's a bunch of hippies. They basically say, yeah, that's unconstitutional, whatever they don't like. And then it always gets sent to a higher court that says, all right, or no, you crazy
Now,
hippies.
the thing is, this court's important because
it is important.
They're the court that they're almost a bellwether in some ways. And a lot of times an issue that otherwise is just set in stone, they'll be the ones who instigate kind of a reevaluation of the situation.
Yeah, I also think that there are a lot of people, like, when they have a case... like they'll purposely file their case where they know they'll get to this court, when it's like a constitutional issue they want to make.
But this is a very short AP Wire thing. I'm just going to read it verbatim and then we can discuss it.
All right.
Quote, a federal appeals court in San Francisco. Whenever an article starts that way, I go, oh man, here it comes.
Overturned what? A law saying?
Says that a website can be found liable for violating fair housing laws by matching roommates according to gender, sexual orientation, and whether or not they have children. Well, on Thursday, the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, yay, decided that roommates.com could be brought to trial for possibly violating anti-discrimination laws because it asks users to give detailed information to screen participants for matches. The court says federal law protecting websites, quote, was not meant to create a lawless no man's land on the internet, end quote. The ruling deals a major blow to the immunity shield that federal law has provided to the internet.
Well, I have to read the opinion of the court to know.
Oh yeah, I'm not even going to talk about the court's
to know
opinion.
what their law basis for this decision is.
There are federal laws that basically say if you are like the Fair Housing Act and all these things, if you are advertising housing, you cannot advertise based on certain requirements.
Yep.
And if you are like seeking housing for other people, you cannot allow them to give you certain parameters to look.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, I still don't know how I feel about these things because on one hand, obviously there are very important applications for this. I don't think you should be able to have a website or have a realtor where you can say, all right, I want to rent my house out, but no blackies, no
whiteys,
no brownies,
no yellowies, no orangies, only greenies.
But at the same time, say I live in New York City and I have a 1-bedroom or a studio apartment and I need a roommate. I think, say I'm a woman and I don't feel comfortable just having some guy I don't know live with me. I think it should be okay for me to advertise for just another woman.
Or what if I am a crazy Hasidic Jew, right? You know, even if I wouldn't mind, you know, like living with some, you know, non-type of, Hasidic Jew, at least in principle, you know, like there would be serious problems if like they were messing up my kosher action. So but I need a roommate because I can't afford to live here.
No, even further, while you can have these anti-discrimination things in place to, prevent people from screening, you can't second guess someone's motivation. And if I just happen to only let the one woman who applies be my roommate and I reject the other 100 men and I don't say anything, how are they going to prove that I was violating this? I mean,
with lots of lawyers.
But I guess in the end, I feel like if someone wants to find a roommate, that in the end they should be able to, for their own personal space, they can pretty much decide based on whatever parameters they want.
Yeah.
Even though this allows a lot of people to be racist or homophobic or horrible in all sorts of ways, at the same time,
you're going to force the KKK guy to move in with the black guy. That's
of course
not going to work out.
He probably wouldn't.
I know, but I'm saying it's like you're good.
But I guess in this specific case, I feel like a site like roommates.com, I almost feel like they should allow you to look at, like, if you put in the information, it should be optional. You could say, I would like to put in this information or not, and it should be optional. I would like to search for this information or not. But like kids, but then again, there's also discrimination about, say I rent out a little house. All right, what if I don't want the gays to move in? So I say only available to families. Now that could be discriminatory, but at the same time, what if I don't want loud punk kids to live? It's complicated.
Yeah, if you're quiet old people and you don't want punk kids to live in there, I mean, on the one hand, it's sort of like, but on the other hand, but see, even forget about the discrimination, right? Forget about all the discrimination parts of this issue, okay? What if roommates.com just moved their servers to like Canada, but still the service they provide isn't, it's like people from the US could go to the Canadian website, and fill and find housing in the US. It's just, it could be anywhere.
Well, you know what that is?
The
answer to this problem.
Well, I know, but the thing is, right, is the US, why even bother making a law that can be so easily evaded? It's like, if you're going to make a law, even if the law is right in principle, right? Let's say you have a law that's right.
Well,
that we agree with 100% that should be the law.
If it's unenforceable, there's no point in having the law.
Right.
I want to even say something further. A law like this, at least for individuals, all it does, it doesn't really end discrimination. It pushes the discrimination one step closer to the person, where instead of like, all right, they can't discriminate in the search, they'll just discriminate in the decision instead. It's like it doesn't really accomplish anything. Now, I want to qualify all of this by saying that I think these laws are very important for, say, large organizations. I feel like laws like this should not apply to individuals, but they should apply to like an apartment building.
Yeah, exactly.
An apartment building should not be able to discriminate on pretty much anything other than will you make a mess?
Pay?
Yes.
Do you have the money? You can live here.
But if I own my house, like there should be kind of, for all laws like this, like the ADA and everything, there should be a line. In the ADA, there are lines, but below which, like, if your company has 2 employees, you shouldn't have to like fully comply with all these laws. If I have a tiny like attic apartment in my house I want to rent out, I shouldn't have to comply with these laws. But
it's
if
like
I own
if me and Rim start Geeknights the company, do we really need workers' comp shit in case Rim like hurts himself and falls out of his chair? Do we really?
My bonitis.
Bonitis. I mean, can I claim, if me and Rim start a company, can I claim disability, thus bankrupting Rim and living a life of luxury?
So,
and no work?
I guess in the end, I'm conflicted about this issue on a number of levels, but from the technological geek standpoint, this law and this lawsuit are so easily circumvented that it's laughable, to the point that roommates.com, regardless of anything, just move your servers to Canada.
It's like making a law that says don't look at the sky. It's like there's no way that you can stop.
I'm not looking at the sky. I'm looking at that bird.
But there's no way you can enforce the law that says don't look at the sky. So
yes, you
even
could.
if
yes, you could.
How could you?
All right. Well, one way is you hire a policeman to follow everyone around. But then who watches the watchmen? So you gotta have someone follow his policeman around. Or you just put gigantic eyeball destroying lasers in the sky that look for eyeballs and shoot them.
Anyway, stop being silly. The point is,
it's not that silly.
I know, but if the law is don't look at the sky, why, even if it's, you really, people looking at the sky is a bad thing, and we all agree that people looking at the sky is a bad thing, it's impossible to stop people, so why waste our resources and time trying?
It's kind of like how, with prohibition, don't make laws to stop people from drinking. People are gonna drink. People are gonna drink. People drank completely all through prohibition, before and after, nothing changed. But
beer baron.
But the laws caused a lot of problems. So don't make the drinking illegal, because that doesn't really work. But it's still illegal if you hit someone with your car.
Yep.
Things of the day. Now, the previous 3 days were not really cop-outs, but pretty much this has been my thing of the day all week, because I really wanted to bring this up, and I figured that since this thing is so cool, in my opinion, what better way than to just kind of build up to it? Because actually, I
think my thing of the day today is better than your thing of the day.
Scott's thing of the day came out of nowhere and is like fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. Scott's thing of the day fucking is made of wind. But my thing of the day is somewhat poignant. Now, all week I've been talking about this song, Those Were the Days, that was a super pop success all over the world, at least in the Western world. And it had ties to the Byrds and Paul McCartney and all these things. It was based on this old Russian folk song.
Yeah, people have heard the story 3 times.
Yeah, but actually a lot of people only listen to Thursday.
That's sad.
And a lot of people only listen to Wednesday. And a lot of people only listen to Tuesday. I think you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But the deal is, it all kind of comes full circle, because this song, which was originally a Russian folk song, and then was kind of translated into a pop song, and then was kind of covered in modern eras by a Finnish or it was a Dutch band, comes full circle and was performed kind of epically by the Leningrad Cowboys, which I point out is a Finnish band, was close to the Dutch band, so that's a tiny link there. This Finnish band performed this song in conjunction with the Soviet Red Star Red Army Chorus.
That's like Grimm's favorite.
That band is one of my favorite bands ever, and they actually collaborate often with the Leningrad Cowboys, which is also one of my favorite bands. So this concert, this is filmed live, is the Red Star Red Army Chorus singing Those Were the Days, which is a pop song that was based on a Russian folk song with the Leningrad Cowboys, a Finnish pop band that their hair is awesome, if nothing else. They kind of have that
They have that sort of Cromartie hair.
the hair sticking out.
That
forward.
guy from the movie, the Kamikaze Girls.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, the hair that's like goes way forward.
I love that hair. I love those guys.
I like the look of that hair, but I would never have that hair.
Oh no, I'd be afraid I'd like hit someone with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the thing that I find really interesting is that one, it's this song kind of came full circle from Russian poem to Russian folk song to popular song in the West to popular song moving back toward Europe, and then finally the Red Star Red Army chorus with this like super not serious Leningrad Cowboys band. But if you look at it even further, the song, the gist of the song, both in English and in Russian, is kind of this nostalgia for the past and this kind of transition. And the song being performed by these two groups, especially because this concert was actually not too long after the fall of the Soviet Union and the opening up and the end of the Cold War. The song is really kind of poignant, and seeing the Red Star Chorus performing alongside a band like this in the post-Soviet world, and the fact that the song itself is so kind of meaningful. There's a lot there. And also, this concert is fucking epic, and I would have loved to have been there.
All right. So check this story out, right? It's one of the guys who writes for Kotaku. He puts up a post, and he's like, is Transformers still good? Right? And he's sort of referring to, we all know it well. You know, you like Transformers as a kid. You like He-Man as a kid. You go back and watch it now that you're older, and you go, oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. So I basically said, yeah, Transformers, it holds up better than He-Man, but doesn't hold up as well as Voltron and Thundercats, which is true.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like the Transformers movie, I tried to watch it again. Actually, me and I think, God, this was way back. Instead of doing work for projects, like me and Ido just sat and watched the Transformers movie all night in college. And I can say one thing. That movie is spastic and ADD, and you can't even tell what's going on most of the time.
I know what's going on.
Yeah, but like you can barely tell.
All right, but anyway, some of the Transformers TV series kind of okay, some not. But anyway, he posted up another post that was like, yeah, it didn't hold up so well. What was I thinking? And in the comments of that post, someone put some links to some videos. And thus, the thing of the day is a guy named Dr. Smoove, DRSMOOV, and he has the YouTube account. And on his YouTube account, he puts the videos. And basically what he does in these videos, is he takes G.I. Joe and Transformers primarily, but also some other things, I guess. I've only watched one of these videos so far. I'm assuming the rest are just as good. And he edits them and redubs them. And he actually is a really good voice actor. Like, for a second, like, at first, I thought it was the original Transformers voice actors, like, having fun. Sort of like those Thundercats outtakes, which are the Thundercats voice actors having fun. But no, he really does. He just does a really good Shockwave, a really good Megatron, and a really good Starscream, and a really good Optimus Prime.
I don't think there's any way to overstate how absolutely perfect and hilarious this is.
So he redubs these clips, and it sort of makes more sense than the original show, and is actually funny and cool and awesome. Now,
the defining moment when Scott showed this to me was when someone shows up and there's our friend, our man Shockwave, the best Transformer.
Let me tell you about Shockwave, right? The story of Transformers in brief, at least the beginning of Transformers, is you have these Transformers. They're on Cybertron. Autobots are good, Decepticons are bad, they fight. Okay? They leave for Earth, or at least a bunch of them leave for Earth. The Decepticons are still sort of in charge of Cybertron, right? So Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons, he went to Earth, right? He said, Shockwave, you stay here, you're in charge. Shockwave is like the most powerful fucking normal-sized Transformer, not counting things like Unicron and whatnot. He turns into a laser gun. I mean, Megatron turns into like a handgun, but Shockwave turns into a laser gun, like a wicked laser gun. He can like blow shit up crazy. But he's super loyal to Megatron, so he doesn't, fuck around.
I don't know why. Megatron was just so incompetent.
He's the opposite of Starscream. Like, Starscream is super smart, but
he's super, asshole.
He's super disloyal asshole who's weak. But Shockwave is a super strong, super smart, not asshole who's loyal. And that's why he's able to maintain control of Cybertron for 4 million years.
You know what? You know what? In a way, Shockwave and it's kind of like the Justinian Belisarius relationship.
All right. But basically, Shockwave is on Cybertron, bored and super alone for 4 million years plus. And then suddenly, like, Megatron wakes up and starts contacts him like 4 million years later and whatnot. But it's the video that we watched.
Shockwave, answer the phone. There's nothing to do up there. What are you?
Yeah, we were watching this. The one video Dr. Smooth made that was really funny was Shockwave's Burden. I haven't watched the other ones yet, but I must assume that they are all as awesome, if not more awesome.
The defining moment for me was just when the line of, don't worry, Shockwave can't shoot for shit. He's like the worst shot in the world.
He is. But yeah, I'm going to link you to Dr. Smooth's YouTube page so you can watch all his videos. But the one that we actually watched so far that was the highest quality is Shockwave's Burden. And it's funnier the more you know about Transformers. That's why I tried to tell you the story of Shockwave. But yeah, if you have nostalgia for Transformers or G.I. Joe, just watch these videos instead of watching the real deal, and you'll be much better off.
Yes, and while the Juggernaut is hilarious, these are so much better done.
Yeah, this is better than the Juggernaut bitch. It's in the same sort of, I guess, camp, but it's better.
Of course, we found that Juggernaut bitch did not lose its luster over time.
A few months ago, like a month or two ago, we watched Juggernaut bitch.
I laughed out loud continuously.
It was still really funny.
Hey, got you with my pimp cane.
Ooh, take that, bitch. Ooh.
My helmet, Charles. Okay.
I had this in 4th grade.
The fuck is this shit?
What the fuck is this shit, Charles?
Okay, anyway.
Anus, Charles, anus.
Anus. Okay, that's enough of that. No more.
No more.
What? Okay. So, this came up in the forum a while ago. And
I came up with it.
Yes, and you know what? It generated a lot of interesting discussion, and we're kind of lazy. If you couldn't tell, yesterday's show was kind of a total cop-out, so what better way to end the week than to cop-out again?
Oh, man.
Double cop-out.
Double cop-out.
So what are we doing the show on?
What are we doing the show? I said you could decide. We're doing the what if you were a blank, and Rim is going to fill in the blank.
Well, I think we're going to have to go straight away with what would I do if I were a super villain?
Okay, I'd probably actually take over the world and no one would fuck with me.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
But how? I mean,
Well, what's my superpower?
I think we get to decide.
See, here's the thing. First, I got to start off, right? People... They say superpower. There was a discussion I read somewhere that was like, what's the lamest superpower? And I'm like, whoa. If a power is lame, it's not super, right?
It's just a power.
If you have a
superhero, he has no power.
If you have a power to make eggs appear out of thin air, that could be cool and useful and funny. It's not super. Okay?
I don't know. You get $1 million for one by having it. It is any power includes get $1 million.
Any supernatural power. I could have a natural power.
Like what?
Just jump 5 feet in the air.
Well, by that logic, everyone has a lot of powers. They're just really, really weak. I mean, look.
Well, no, they're not weak. They're stronger than most other animals' powers. They're just the same as every other human's power.
We have podcasting power. I think we're only going to count a power if it is beyond what a normal human can have. Like D&D stats, I think a 17 or higher counts as a power.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing, which Rim brought up, is that, in comic books and things, where you have the superheroes and the supervillains, right? It's generally sort of like well-defined, like he's the good guy, he's the bad guy.
That's what always bothers me. Like, how come in a lot of, this is like especially DC comics, I guess, though Marvel is not, it's not like they've ever done it.
No, they're both the same in this regard.
But I feel like, all right, the superheroes, they're good. What do? They fight supervillains. Supervillains, they're bad. What do? And usually it's just fucking be evil for no good goddamn reason. Just complete assholes.
Yeah.
Like all those bad anime where it's like the bad guys are an evil corporation and they murder their employees and they pollute and they kill. And why?
I mean, you'll always get those stories. You'll always get some of the supervillains have a reason for what they do. They're well written.
It's almost
like
always...
Magneto, Or sometimes you'll get the story where the superhero goes bad or the supervillain goes good. But it's a story where supervillain goes good or superhero goes bad. It's like the person maintains their superhero or supervillain label, and they just switch sides temporarily or sometimes for an extended period of time.
I contend
they don't lose the label. It's like there's something about it, like. But in the real world, the label wouldn't exist.
That's what I was about to say. I contend that there are no supervillains because no one who is a super blank thinks that they're evil.
Well, a super person.
Yes. I mean, I'll try to think. Dr. Doom should, whatever he's after it because that's what the world needs. He's the good guy in his book.
Yep.
But, well, I guess except in crappy books where someone's just a bad guy.
Well, or where they're just crazy. There's a lot of that mad scientist kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the other
on.
thing. I'm sick of supervillains whose plot is complicated, blah, but in the end, it's just, I'm depressed. I want to destroy the world because fuck all of you. It's just so overdone and lame.
Yep. So, but, I mean, if I had a superpower of some sort, and I'm going to basically take the villain. I'm going to interpret that as Scott's moral code goes out the window. That's
all right. Because there's two ways to look at it. Because a lot of the things we want that would probably be good would make us villains in most people's eyes.
That's true also.
But we can start with no moral code.
Right. No moral code.
You know what?
Superpowers. I do whatever I want.
I hate to say it. If we had no moral code, we wouldn't even... We already have superpowers. We'd sell Randy things and make a pile of money. We'd start a cult. It'd be so easy.
I know.
It'd be trivial.
All right, now a lot of it depends on what power I have, right? So I'm going to consider like two different levels of power here, right? One level of power is like crazy super, I can do whatever I want, in which case I would probably turn the earth into a utopia for me. And then I would maybe fly out into space, make another utopia for me, and then I would fly around space.
I think that's not even... We should go a little bit lower.
We go a little bit lower? Okay. So
of course, then again, maybe there's the altruistic, you're a super villain, but that's just because you fuck everything up. But you have all this power. You're a demigod of some kind, and you decide, all right, I'm going to make the world a utopia. And as we know from all literature,
it becomes a dystopia.
Yes, all utopia becomes dystopia.
Yep. Well, okay, let's take a level of power where I'm not really flying around space evil super crazy, but basically I can kill anyone and beat anyone up, but no one can touch me because I'm such a badass.
So, Death Note, basically, Kira.
No, Death Note, he's not. I'm talking like invincible. Like, I'm Superman, but I'm mean.
I don't know how interesting that is. What do you do? What would I do if I didn't have a moral code either?
Well, I would probably just...
live a life of decadent luxury.
No, pretty much anyone who pissed me off, I'd beat the shit out of them.
That's not that interesting.
I know, and then, basically the world would end up being, the way I thought it would be. It would be...
I think a better way to go about this is forget, toss away the moral code. What about twisted moral code? Or amoral in terms of, end justifies the needs, the means supervillain. We have so let's take goals that we might have, but remove all moralistic obstacles and then give ourselves varying levels of superpower.
Okay, so one goal would be to get rid of, religion. So I would go and I would just smash all the churches.
If you were Superman. That doesn't work. That'll just make people believe more.
Okay, then I would kill all the priests.
That probably wouldn't work. You gotta be more...
I would use my superpowers to convince them that I had killed God.
God, you're like the worst supervillain. All right. So I'm a supervillain. Well, I'll be real generic about my powers. And I want to destroy religion.
All right.
What I would do is orchestrate all Ozymandias style, some sort of because look, he runs a giant corporation.
Don't be spoiling.
He can do whatever he wants to do. He's a superhero who has he has all the power. He's like Batman times 10. He's like open Batman. It's like if Batman, Bruce Wayne, now there's a spoiler. Turns out Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Oh, man.
But imagine if instead of being Batman, Bruce Wayne was just like, you know what? I'm fucking Bruce Wayne. I'll do whatever I want. Oh, and I'm Batman, but it doesn't matter. I don't even do Batman things privately. I'm just Bruce Wayne. Suck it, bitches. So I want to destroy religion, right? I use all of my means to trick the world bit by bit into believing that the second coming is happening, and either that me, or even better, if I find someone else, especially if I find a superhero who could emulate the supposed powers of the supposed Jesus, then I would make the world believe that there's Jesus' second coming. And then at the moment of truth, I'd reveal that I'd set it up to convince everyone that God died. And that was it. And it was over. And there was no more religion.
The thing is, the thing about convincing people that God died is sort of like, well, they're still believing in magical thinking. You have to eliminate the magical thinking. That's the real goal. I make them believe
that in the end, all magic all religious blah blah has been destroyed, and all that's left is logic. Right. And this is the last whatever thing, and I'm going to destroy it right now.
Well, now see, here's another question, right? If I get some sort of crazy powers, right? Will I still only have my very human desires, or will I gain some sort of transhuman or post-human desires?
You're thinking Doc Manhattan style.
Because if I still have my human desires, I get mad monies, mad ladies, mad, what famous people get, all that stuff. Probably not. Well, if I'm immune to drugs, maybe I'll do those too, right? But if I have some sort of post-human desires and, money and ladies and cars and mansions,
then you become Hannibal.
Don't do it for me anymore.
Actually, I realized something. A transhuman very, very likely becomes automatically, in the eyes of non-transhumans, a supervillain.
Quite possibly.
I mean, look at Hannibal. The fundamental messed up thing about him.
The thing is, you can be transhuman without eating people.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, but it doesn't have to be eating people. The idea there, if you break it down, is that he has transcended all. He's not human. He's something different, not better. Not necessarily better or anything, but
just after,
and as a result, more powerful. And his desires and wants and needs are so utterly alien and so utterly contrary.
Yeah, it's as if he's was an alien from outer space.
I mean, it's almost like if you become powerful in this way, that maybe you don't intend to be a supervillain. The way you perceive the world is such that the things you do are perceived by others as supervillainy.
Yeah, it's just because, you become something that's not human, right, in a way. And you no longer want the things humans want. Your perfect, even though every human has a different idea what the perfect world is like, there are a lot of, common themes. But if you become something else other than human, you won't have any common themes with what humans want. I'm sure that raccoons, their perfect world is like a pile of trash. They don't have any common themes with what humans want, right? So maybe, I would try to fight for whatever that was, and I'd probably achieve it because I'd have great power, but all the humans would be upset because my wants are nothing like their wants.
Instead of with great power comes great responsibility, it's with great power comes eating people.
Well, no, I hope I wouldn't want to eat people.
But you might. You don't know.
I might.
Watch. You become transcendent, and suddenly you're like, oh,
hopefully,
eating people is the way. How could I not have known this until now?
See,
God,
I'm hoping,
I feel dumb.
Here's my hope, right? Is that humans want fast cars, mansions, members of the opposite sex, or same sex.
You're hoping that transhuman Scott just wants enlightenment or something?
No, transhuman Scott just wants bigger mansions, faster cars.
Great.
And more.
See, I think because it's hard to get into specifics, I think one thing that's definitely been illustrated is that the Rim supervillain, regardless of his desires, orchestrates the large and complicated subtle plan that culminates in an epic, yes, I've done it! Ha 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 ha! And your plan is the, look at me, I'm the supervillain, fuck you all!
Yeah, pretty much. I would be a lot more like, let's just try to think of supervillains that we would be like.
I'm Batman. I'm evil Batman.
You'd be evil Batman?
I'd be evil, not depressed Batman. See, I don't know enough superheroes to come up with who that would be.
See, I would be a lot more like Rezzo. I'd be like, doing the ritual right now.
Rezzo, my man.
I'd be a lot more like Rezzo, or perhaps
Rezzo's so great. He's like, hey, I'm after this. Oh, look, there it is.
Or perhaps I would be more like, Magneto with less restraint.
See, I'm more like Zelos. I'm more of the, I've got this plan.
Of course,
you don't know what I'm after.
Maybe if I was post-human, though, I might be more like Galactus. Just eat the world, but it's just a world. It's just food to me. It's not a.
Ah, yeah. But then that's the same as Hannibal.
I know. Galactus is the same as Hannibal.
So,
only bigger and
Wow.
dorky looking.
wow, there we go.
Yeah.
Don't call him dorky. He'll fucking eat you.
He doesn't even know I'm an ant to him. That's like telling an ant, don't call the human dorky, he'll step on you.
What if an ant crawled into your ear and was like, "Hey, I'm an ant."
It wouldn't be an ant. It would suddenly be post-ant.
It'd be post-ant, but it still looks like an ant because Hannibal still looks like a human.
I know, that's the thing. Galactus, I guess, looks like a human to humans, but actually, if you're not human, Galactus looks different to everybody. That's
I was picturing what he looks like to you.
But to me, he looks like, I guess to humans, he looks like the pink blue thing, but to like,
Why do you look like a pink thing to humans?
I don't know. There's an explanation that's probably really dorky.
Speaking of which, what's the deal with all these different colored lantern whatevers now?
I don't know. I read one shitty Green Lantern that was only green, and I'm not going to read any of the other ones.
Because I can't think of anything dumber than having a blue lantern.
How did you find out about that shit?
I don't know. Maybe I made it up, but I thought I heard something somewhere.
Well, you're right, but all I know about as much as you do.
Great.
Yeah. Do we got anything else to say about this?
I don't know. It was kind of a cop-out. We explored a lot of ideas, and I kind of want to make some potatoes or a sandwich or something, and I actually have a big presentation on game theory at work tomorrow for like half my company, so I kind of gotta prepare that.
All right, well, let's see. Who is the coolest supervillain in in any fictional work?
Hannibal?
You think so?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Constantine?
It's not fictional.
Well, it depends.
We're talking fiction.
It's hard to say. I could name any number of people from The Prince of Nothing, The Darkness That Comes Before.
Yeah. I'm a fan of not Sauron, but what came before Sauron? Morgoth or whatever it was.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to.
I can't believe I forget the name.
It's tricky. Maybe Cthulhu.
Cthulhu's not really a villain.
He's transhuman. He's
No, he's just an alien, sort of.
He's transcendent. See, it's tough.
It is pretty tough.
Just because it's come up recently, I might have to go with the no god.
Yeah.
Partly just because I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah.
Once I know his deal, I'll reevaluate.
Yeah, I don't know the no god zeal, but I did. There was that no man in the prologue. He was pretty cool.
The non-men.
The non-man. I like the non-man.
They're kind of Hannibal too. They were something, but now they're transcendent, and as a result, crazy appearing to people who aren't at that level. But that level's not necessarily better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that guy was having a good time.
No, not at all.
You're going to find out more about them.
Yep.
I'll say one thing. They have the best reliefs of any reliefs ever. You think you can imagine an awesome relief? It's better.
You know what? If I was like a crazy supervillain, you know what I would do?
Have a building full of reliefs?
No, I'd just make reliefs. I'd make the craziest, most evil reliefs ever.
Wait till you find out about the reliefs in that book, because they're crazy. They're beyond what you're imagining.
We should get some reliefs.
What kind of reliefs?
I don't know. I'm going to go on eBay. I'm going to search for reliefs.
Whoa, here's an idea for all you artists out there in the artist alleys. Make simple clay relief tablets that are all Cthulhu-y and sell them in the artist alley.
I searched for reliefs on eBay. Guess what I found?
You found Cthulhu-y reliefs.
I found not only did I find reliefs, I found a rare ancient Egyptian huge sun god wall relief.
How much is it?
$50.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure it's not a replica?
It might be a replica.
You see, your relief says replica.
It doesn't matter if it's a replica.
Meanwhile, my relief says... I'm trying to think of something funny other than Desert Eagle.
No, my relief says
Ozymandias look the ye-mighty.
Mine says Cthulhu Relay Fatagan.
I believe it's Cthulhu Fatagan, the other word. Really.
Like whatever. Whether this relief is genuine or not, it actually looks pretty cool.
Buy it. It's $50.
What do I get to do with it?
Put it in your room.
No, I don't need a relief in my room. Thank you. That's what the supervillain does. He slips his evil reliefs into other people's rooms. Ooh.
Well, if I woke up and there was a large relief just kind of staring me in the face in my bedroom, I don't know what I would do.
I should buy the relief and put it
I really don't know what I would do. Maybe I'd be like the monkeys, just... It's like the monolith.
I should buy a relief and put it in your room.
What if you pick the wrong relief and I become transhuman and then I eat you?
Well, who am I to say you're wrong? Who am I to... That'd be like an ant telling Galactus
Who am
not
I
to eat the Earth.
to judge Hannibal? You know what?
Yeah.
I'd probably lock him up anyway.
I probably would too.
It's tricky. It's like, wow, You've transcended humanity. That's great. Back to jail with you.
Well, you didn't transcend him enough to get the hell away.
Yeah, except he does.
Well, he can get away, but he can't get away perfectly.
Well, you kind of can.
If he was perfect, then they never would have caught him ever.
Yeah, but what if he got caught on purpose because it was fun or because he had more power that way?
Well, then
You can't second guess someone like that. That's the
truth,
that's the
then
biggest problem with transhuman ideas.
that
is that
is
you
the
can
truth-
never second guess them.
if that is true, then basically you have no choice in the matter. So just let it be.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com, or you can send audio feedback via Odeo. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.